Hi everybody, so we are starting a brand new unit, and this unit is all about civilization, specifically in Afro-Eurasia. So make sure you check in your vocab if there's any words in this video that you're unsure of. So the do now for this lesson should have been, what is a marker of a good student and what is a marker of a good teacher? And really that was just to review that a marker of something is a characteristic or a clear indicator of something. So how do we know that that is a characteristic? And we're looking for patterns in early Afro-Eurasian societies. Take a moment to pause the video and check out the learning objective below. Please make sure that you are taking Cornell notes. These should be in your notebook, they should be written very clearly, and they should follow the following pattern, which we did last unit. You should have your title, the name, the date, the learning objective. That's all in this video already. As you watch the video, you're going to take main ideas on what I'm saying. There will be very few words on my slides now in this video, so you have to choose what is it that I'm saying that you want to write down. Afterwards, or even while you're watching this video, make sure you're putting down keywords. What are vocab terms that I'm using? What are things that you would have to study or remember? And what are some of the main ideas that you can pull from these notes? And then last but not least, you can write your summary. That can be after this entire video is over. What are the highlights of what you learned? These are your guided notes. I don't know how else to say that to you, but the better your notes, the better the grade. So try to be as detailed as possible. All right, so what geographical feature do you think is the most important for the development of civilizations? Pause, take a second. What do you think? Feel free to say it out loud, whisper it, your neighbor doesn't care. Maybe this map will help you. These are the areas that we'll be studying in the next unit. What do they have in common? If you said that the answer was rivers, you are 100% right. We are slowly going to be looking through the river valley civilizations in Afro-Eurasia. Rivers are important because they help give nutrients to the soil, which is good for agriculture. And we've already talked about how important agriculture is. Rivers are helpful for transportation, and rivers are helpful for either being able to expand or sometimes defend, depending on what the river looks like in your area. So rivers are basically one of the very foundational geographic features for society across the world and across humanity. So river valley civilizations that we may be looking at is Mesopotamia. Keep an eye out for this one. We'll be reading about it very soon. One of the important terms to remember is the Fertile Crescent. We study that as our vocab terms. It is by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. So these are these rivers right here. And they have city-states. Again, those are some of our vocab terms. And some of the ones that we'll be reading about in this unit are Uruk, and Babylonia. But Sumer and Assyria will pop up as well. Another one of the river valley civilizations we'll be talking about is Egypt. Egypt is in northeastern Africa. We have definitely looked at it on a map before. The river here is the Nile River. A fun fact about the Nile River is that it flows north. So if you see on this map, this is Upper Egypt and this is Lower Egypt. And that's because the river actually flows up into the Mediterranean Sea. These are two of the river valley civilizations that we'll be focusing on in this unit. So feel free to refer back to this video anytime you feel like you need a visual to kind of put in place what are we talking about when we're referencing Mesopotamia and what are we talking about when we're referencing Egypt. On to our markers of civilization. From your vocab, you should know that there are 7, and I will briefly overview the following 7. Please pause the video to take notes. So one of the first markers of civilization are cities. These are all examples of modern cities in this image, but there were large cities in these historical river valley civilizations. So if you refer back to the maps in the video, you could have seen, again, Babylonia, were in Mesopotamia, Alexandria and Cairo in Egypt. Other markers of civilization are belief systems and religion. Here are just two images that we will be referencing. These are the more classical religions that we might see today. We have Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, but we will also be referring to more nature-based religions. So those could be animism, those could be any type of polytheistic, spiritual based religion. Our next marker of civilization is going to be technology. So technology could mean many things. It could be like what we studied before, which are the snow goggles from the Inuit people, or the terrace farming in South America, or even the aqueducts that we talked about in Rome. So it could be inventions like items, but it also could be different methods, and it could also be different types of tools and innovations that different civilizations have come up with. This could also include ideas like roads, even. That is a type of technology that could be advanced for a civilization. One of the other markers of civilization is language and writing. So, for example, we have more pictographic languages, which are languages based on images, which we'll study in Mesopotamia and in Egypt. For example, cuneiform. But we also have modern languages that look completely different but still count. The symbols that we use here in America, we have symbols that they might use in Japan. Although they look completely different, they all count as language. But we want to make sure that we're keeping an open mind about what language means. So, for example, people who are not able to hear, they have their own language. And as long as it's standardized, that would count as well. Government. So this right here, you can just pause your screen if you want to take notes. Any of these types of government would count. The earlier back we go, the more we'll be looking at kings and queens and monarchies and theocracies. That's when somebody in your religion is also in charge of your government. We also have social classes and organized society. So it could be our traditional pyramid shape, which I saw many of you do in your vocab. But don't be stuck there. It could also be just if any group is higher than another. Is that finances? Is that political power? Is that gender roles? Any of those would count. But how is society organized, especially in hierarchies? Art and architecture. So we have the classics, the Great Wall of China. You have to be an advanced civilization in order to build such a monumental construction feat. But also the arts, like the Mona Lisa or any famous painting you can think of today. And even Stonehenge. You guys got stuck on Stonehenge before, but they had to have some sort of civilization in order to make such a giant structure even that long ago. And that's all. We've reviewed our River Valley civilizations that we'll be covering in this unit, as well as the markers of civilization. So please make sure that in your guided notes you're checking for your key points, you're writing your summary, you're making sure you show it to your teacher to get your practice, and then you're completing your practice by yourself or with a partner who is on the same pace as you. That's all, folks. Let us know, us being your teachers, if you need anything, and have a great day.